Hello, you are listening to the Natural Healing Show for UK Health Radio. I'm your host, Catherine Carrigan, medical intuitive healer, Amazon #1 best-selling author. You can find out more about me and my work at catherinecarrigan.com and unlimitedenergynow.com. While you're there, definitely sign up for my newsletter so you can learn even more about how you can heal yourself naturally. Now, we've got a special guest today, me. Okay, it's me, Catherine Carrigan. I'm a little bit nervous, so bear with me, but this is a subject that I've been wanting to share with you all about for some time. I'm going to be talking with you about natural healing for the heart. Now, first of all, why would anyone want to know about natural healing for the heart? Your heart is a miracle organ. On the physical level, we have to understand that heart disease is still the leading cause of death all over the world, taking an estimated 17.9 million lives every year. Cardiovascular diseases are a group of disorders of the heart and blood vessels and include coronary heart disease, cerebrovascular disease, rheumatic heart disease, and many other conditions. Now, this is so interesting. A man's heart weighs about 10 ounces, and a woman's heart weighs only about 8 ounces. So this relatively small organ does so much for us. Your heart beats around 100,000 times a day. Your heart pumps 2,000 gallons of blood a day. And there are 60,000 miles of blood vessels in your body that all lead back to your heart. Some capillaries are 10 times smaller than a human hair. So this relatively small organ, we all have one. And as you learn how to take better care of your heart, you're going to feel happier, healthier, and live a long, wonderful life. So in my work as a medical intuitive healer, I talk about the 5 levels of healing. Your physical body, you know what that is. Your energy body includes your chakras, your breath, and your acupuncture system. The emotional body, emotions can shut down literally anything. Your mental body, which is your thoughts and beliefs, and finally your spiritual body. So when I do a medical intuitive reading, whether it's of your heart or your whole body or anything, I'm always looking at what I call the 5 levels of healing. Energetically, your heart chakra is the bridge between your lower chakras and your upper chakras. It's your bridge between your physical self and your higher spiritual self. In Chinese medicine, your heart is known as the emperor of the body. There's a saying where I came from, if mama ain't happy, nobody's happy. If your heart isn't happy, more than likely other things are probably not working the way that they could. So once again, if all you do when you want to be healthier is to improve the well-being of your heart, everything is going to improve. On the emotional level, the primary positive emotions associated with your heart are love, compassion, courage, forgiveness, self-confidence, self-esteem, self-worth, and happiness. The primary negative emotions that hurt your heart are hatred, anger, self-doubt, and insecurity. It really is worth dealing with your emotions because you can actually die of a broken heart. There's something called Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, say that really fast, causes your heart's main blood pumping chamber, the left ventricle, to change shape and get larger. It's literally called broken heart syndrome. So, and it's triggered by extreme emotional or physical stress. So once again, the more that you can focus and amplify the positive emotions that heal your heart, the better you're going to feel. And the more you take time to resolve the anger, the hatred, the self-doubt, and the insecurity, the healthier your heart will be. On a mental level, and this is interesting, your heart is about knowing who you are. Now, there's a difference between believing and knowing. I may believe that it's going to be a nice day today, but when I put something into knowing, then there is no doubt. I know the world is round. I know my name is Catherine. When we put things in our mind into knowing, we feel confident, secure, and courageous. When you know who you are in the world, in your family, in your community, you can move forward with great courage, being who you are, showing up, shining your light from your heart. On the spiritual level, our heart is the center from which we share our love with the world at large. We do our work with love. We love our families. We keep chemicals out of the garden because we love the birds, the bees, and the hummingbirds. We stop and pick up litter off the street because we love our community. We contribute to the well-being of strangers, people we've absolutely never met and may never meet, out of our love and care and wanting to make a difference. Interestingly, your arms and your hands are an extension of your heart chakra. That's why handmade items feel so special, because someone put their love into making them. You wrap your arms around your loved ones to give them a hug, and the two of you feel enveloped by love. So I'm going to be sharing with you today some of the advice that I typically give my clients who are suffering from heart disease. And I'm going to be starting on the physical level, and then I'm going to be sharing many other strategies from natural healing. And if you follow these, your heart is going to be healthier. You're going to feel better on all levels. So let's talk about the physical level. On the physical level, if you have heart disease, you may do better by avoiding dairy products. Calcium mixes with cholesterol, forming plaque. Some wonderful foods that you may want to include green tea, goji berries, maca root powder, acai berry powder. These are all great for the heart. Omega-3 fatty acids, fish oil is fabulous for the heart because it's going to reduce your inflammation. CoQ10 is one of the best supplements you can take for the heart. It's going to improve your heart energy and improve your overall energy. Beets purify the blood. And when you're thinking about wanting to eat a heart healthy diet, you want to include shiitake mushrooms, pomegranates, avocados with the seeds. And the avocado seed, when you grind it up in a blend tech or a Vitamix, is super helpful for reducing arterial plaque. You want to include raw garlic and red onions. Walnuts are high in L-arginine, the precursor of nitric acid, with nitric oxide, which fights heart disease. Eggplant has chlorogenic acid that inhibits the ACE enzymes and reduces cholesterol. Okra is a true artery scrubber. So it has a special kind of fiber that reduces arterial plaque. So eat your okra. Now, where I grew up in the South, we love fried okra. So fried foods are not good for the heart. So you may want to saute your okra and add a little lemon juice. You want to drink distilled water. Now, when cholesterol mixes with calcium, it calcifies the arteries. So we all know that drinking water is good for us. Drinking water, when you're dehydrated, you have decreased blood volume. So you want to stay hydrated. And if you're dehydrated, that may indeed affect your blood pressure. Distilled water pulls toxins out of the joints. And it's a really good water to include in your diet if you have heart disease. So there's lots of great smoothie recipes. And you want to include pomegranates. So pomegranates are very high in anthocyanins, phytochemicals, and they're really helpful for protecting LDL, your low density lipoprotein, from damaging oxidation. And pomegranate enhances nitric oxide and improves your endothelial function. So those are some things that you can do on the physical level. So again, when I'm doing a medical intuitive reading on someone's heart, I'm going to be looking at their, I'm going to be looking at your 4 primary valves in your heart. I'm also going to be looking at the pericardium, which is the sac around your heart. I'm going to be looking at your circulation. And it's one of the reasons why we want to move around. We want to exercise on a regular basis. Even gentle exercise helps your heart. I'm going to be looking at your arteries and your veins. So here's some other wonderful things that you can do to heal heart disease naturally. Now, on the spiritual level, colors heal the spiritual body. So there's some things that are far more powerful than we realize. We're green, red, or pink. So this morning for you all, I'm wearing pink, and I'm wearing rose quartz, which is crystals that help the heart. So when we wear colors that amplify our heart energy, that helps to strengthen our heart chakra. Now, one of my 10 books is called The Little Book of Breathwork. In the Little Book of Breathwork, I teach an 8-minute breathing routine called 8 Minutes to Inner Peace. Now, we have to understand that one of the ways that you can regulate your heart is actually through your breathing. And we can release stress through breath work without having to hire a therapist to talk about it. And you can regulate your blood pressure by learning how to breathe properly. When someone has high blood pressure, in general, they're not exhaling properly. So 8 minutes to inner peace is a little breathing routine that I put together. And you can learn the routine for free on YouTube. If you look me up on YouTube, Catherine Carrigan on YouTube, you can learn the exercises through my videos. And also you can read my book, The Little Book of Breathwork, to learn it. So if you have high blood pressure, you definitely want to learn how to exhale. I've looked at countless EKGs of people with high blood pressure. And what you'll notice is people will inhale, and then it's like nothing else happens. So if you're alive, you're breathing, but you can improve the quality of your breath and your breathing in order to regulate your heart. Now, as you are working to improve your heart, you want to avoid hydrogenated fats. So the hydrogenated fats are found in junk food. So hydrogenated fats are going to clog your arteries. So you want to avoid hydrogenated fats. Another thing that you can do to heal your heart chakra is to do something for someone who can never possibly pay you back. So this would be about extending your heart energy for the well-being of others, care for the homeless. Again, take care of your neighborhood. Do little acts of kindness, clean up the trash in your neighborhood, leave a flower for someone that you know that's been sick for a while. Another thing that you can do, and I'm giving you a lot of my great suggestions, is to dig up one of your baby pictures. So earlier this year, I was working with a client who was having trouble with self-esteem, and he was having trouble loving himself. And I asked for intuitive guidance about what would help him. And I said, you need to dig up one of your baby pictures. So indeed, he contacted his mother and he found a picture of him as a baby. It was one of the most incredible photographs I'd ever seen. So this photograph of him as a baby, he was lying in a bassinet and his eyes were open, and he had this aura of wonderment, like, wow, I'm alive. And he was looking around with this huge smile on his face, like, wow, I'm alive. I have a body. I'm here. The world is beautiful. So when you're having trouble loving yourself and having trouble thinking of things about yourself that are actually lovable, if you find a picture of yourself as a baby, then you can remember and get a glimpse of what your soul might have felt coming into this world and feeling the wonderment all around you. Now, with this, let's take a break and listen to a message from one of our commercial sponsors. I'll be right back. And my name is Catherine Carrigan, medical intuitive healer, and I'm sharing with you today natural healing remedies for the heart. Hi, my name is Catherine Carrigan, medical intuitive healer. I am the author of 10 books, and I am the host here of the Natural Healing Show for UK Health Radio. I'm here today talking with you about natural healing for the heart. Now, another big thing that I recommend to all my clients with heart disease, and in fact, with everybody who wants to be healthy, is to stop microwaving your food. What the rule is, do not put anything in your mouth that has been in a microwave. Why is this so important? Well, first of all, everything that is alive has cells, and healthy cells spin in a clockwise direction. When you microwave food, it reverses the spin of the cells, and the cells then go counterclockwise. This literally sets you up for cancer. I cannot tell you how many clients I've had over the years with cancer, even advanced forms of cancer. They spend a lot of money on expensive organic food, and then they come home and microwave it. Wrong, big mistake. So even eating microwave vegetables will raise your cholesterol. So please do not microwave your food. And what you want to do is you want to cook the way your grandmother cooked. How did your grandmother cook? On a stove, in the oven, in a pot. Okay. Don't defrost in a microwave. Do not cook tea in the microwave. Do not heat water in a microwave. I own a microwave, and the only thing that I use my microwave for is I have neck warmers that I heat up at night to put around my neck and keep me warm and snuggly. Now, another thing that you want to do for your heart is to exercise daily. So lots of people don't like to exercise. You don't even have to call it exercise. It's movement. My home is 3 stories, so I'm always going up and down the stairs. My laundry is on the ground floor. My bedroom's on the top floor, and then my kitchen's on the middle floor. So I'm going up and down all the time. So there are activities of daily living. You can garden, you can wash your car, you can walk your dog. My dog is my personal trainer, Dixie. I generally walk her 5 times a day. There's a little circle around my house, behind my house. It's a 1/4 mile. If I walk around the circle 5 times a day, I've done a 1/4 mile 5 times. So you don't have to do continuous exercise, but you do need to move. Now, why is this important? Why does your heart need continuous daily exercise? Because your heart needs movement. Your exercise helps to release stress. It improves your circulation. And again, if I'm doing a medical intuitive reading on someone's heart, one of the things that I do look at is your cardiac circulation. How well is your heart circulating? Now, what's interesting about exercise in the heart is, and I'm follow me if you will, I'm going to get a little bit technical. So many of us wear different fitness monitors to monitor our heart rate when we exercise. Your body secretes stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol. Adrenaline and cortisol are highly pro-inflammatory, and they break down your bones, your hair, your brain chemistry, everything that's important. And when your cortisol level is high, your body produces cholesterol, the repair substance, in response to inflammation. So going back to exercise. So if you have heart disease, I recommend that you start by exercising in ways where you keep your heart rate below 100 beats a minute. Now, what's so special about 100 beats a minute? Your body has to secrete adrenaline and cortisol in order to get your heart rate above 100 beats a minute. Now, once you're generally healthy, you can go for it. You can do that intense exercise, or you can do bouts of intense exercise to get your heart rate above 100 beats a minute. But if you're starting out and you have a history of heart disease, start with something like walking, which is something that most of us can do, keeping our heart rate below 100 beats a minute. A gentle stroll is incredibly helpful. So daily exercise, and again, it's totally legal to have bouts of exercise. So when I have clients who are sedentary, I tell them to pick a spot, maybe 5 minutes from your desk. So if I walk from my desk, I'm right at my desk right now, to this other spot, if I walk there and back, then I know I've walked 10 minutes. Or figure out a spot from here to the corner and measure out how long that takes. Again, I walk my dog 5 times a day, so I'm getting little bouts of exercise every day, not even counting the 9 times a week that I teach yoga. Now, another great strategy for the heart from natural healing is meditation. Why is meditation so helpful for our heart? When we meditate, you literally quiet your mind and you turn off the stress hormones. When you meditate, ideally, you go into a parasympathetic state. Now, big picture, your body has a nervous system, and the nervous system has 2 parts, sympathetic and parasympathetic. When we meditate, we relax our physical body, we can listen to our heart, we can listen to our higher selves, and we can receive our higher guidance. You can get into your heart. In fact, my favorite meditation, one that I practice twice a day, I do a loving kindness meditation. And when you do a loving kindness meditation, I'll do this right now for everyone who's listening. So I'll say, may all my listeners be well and free from illness. May all my listeners be happy. May all my listeners be safe and free from harm. May all my listeners be at peace. So when you practice a loving kindness meditation, you focus on your heart energy and you send out well-being. You send out well-being, love, kindness, caring to people that you care about. And this is a practice you can start with yourselves, you can start with your family, and then extend that well-being out. I pray for people in war-torn areas. I pray for people all over the world. Which brings me to my next great strategy for your heart, which is to pray. Now, one of the things that helps our heart is acts of service. Some of us are healthy enough to go out into our community. We can volunteer at the food bank. We can volunteer at the soup kitchen. We can do things for other people in person. But even if you are completely bedridden and unwell, one of the greatest acts of service that you can ever perform from your heart is to pray. And if you can't think of prayers, you can listen to prayers. On YouTube, I have a playlist on prayers from my book, Unlimited Intuition Now. So when we pray, again, you're sending well wishes from your soul, from your heart, to others, and you get into your heart and you feel your heart connection with all that is. Another great natural healing strategy for your heart is to be brave and tell others what you really love about them. Now, I admit it takes courage to speak your truth. It takes courage to speak from your heart. But other people need our love. They need to hear our love. So we know that our children need our love, but so do your friends, so do your family members. There's a wonderful little book, The 5 Love Languages. And one of the ways that you can demonstrate love for others is by actually telling them. And you can say, I love you. And you can also say, you know, I really love that special way that you make me laugh. Or I love that you're so dedicated in teaching. I love that you put so much time and effort into being a great mother. So by telling other people what you love about them, it helps other people to see and actually feel what is lovable about them. Now, the next strategy is very interesting, and it's on a spiritual level. So I am a highly sensitive person. I could not do what I do at the level that I do it if I wasn't a highly sensitive person. And many of my clients are also highly sensitive people. They feel the pain of others. They feel the pain of the world. And it can be quite overwhelming at times. But one of the things that you can do for your heart and for your total well-being is to set your intention that nothing comes in and nothing goes out of you except unconditional love. So when I set my intention that only unconditional love comes into me, I'm good. And when the only thing that comes out of me is unconditional love, then everybody around me is not just good, they're very good, they're excellent. So one of the things you can do if you're a highly sensitive person is there's a strategy that I teach called cocooning. And when you cocoon your energy, you surround yourself with a white light of protection. And we can all do that right now. Just visualize a beautiful white light all around you. And then around this white light, you can call in the blue light of healing. Now, as you know, there's different colors of blue. So this is like a light aquamarine blue. And then around this blue light of healing, you put the golden light of transformation. Now, if you've ever been to an art gallery and seen medieval art, what you'll notice is the paintings of the saints. The saints all have golden halos around them. And gold is the highest level of your aura. So the white light of protection, the blue light of healing, the golden light of transformation. And then as you cocoon yourself, you affirm, nothing comes in and nothing comes out of me except unconditional love. And as you set this intention, then all your interactions with everyone around you will be better. You're going to be kinder. You're going to be more compassionate. You're going to notice when other people are not feeling well and need to be spoken with gently. Which brings me to my next natural healing strategy for your heart, which is when you're walking down the street, silently wish everyone well when you pass them by. So I'm sure you've experienced this. So sometimes we're walking and we speak to others and we have a verbal connection, right? And you say good morning, they say good morning. But even if you're not speaking, we can send energy literally from our heart and send that love, that care, that unconditional love, that compassion out to everyone. And this can be the energy that you vibrate. This can be the energy that you take into the space, into your workplace, into your family, into everywhere you go. And the world needs more love. So even if you are not speaking that or not taking action, you can actually set your intention and silently wish everyone well. Now, another great strategy, and we're back on the physical, is to juice green leafy vegetables. Now, starting out in natural healing, for many years, I was a juicer. And what do I mean by I was a juicer? I had a juicing machine, and I would juice vegetables and fruits and drink that every morning. And I'll tell you all a story about how I started juicing, because one day I was out for a walk and I noticed my neighbor, who at the time was in his mid-90s, and he was out for his walk. He had rosy cheeks and he looked just the picture of health in his mid-90s. His little black kitty cat was sitting there waiting for him, like the guard cat, waiting for dad to come back. And so I just started talking to him. I was like, well, what's your health secret? And he said, well, I've just been a juicer for many years. And I said, well, what do you juice? And he says, well, just whatever's in the refrigerator. So I started out with a Jack LaLanne juicer. And there's all kind of recipes that you can read about juicing. Celery juice is widely known to lower blood pressure. So it's a really mild vegetable to juice. Even if you're sort of leery about juicing, you can start with celery juice and apple. And later on, as I studied food healing, one of my food healing teachers, he's like, oh, you're not as healthy as I am, because the phytochemicals are in the seeds, the fiber, and the skin of fruits and vegetables. So health nuts will argue which is healthier, juicing or smoothies. And the correct answer is smoothies. I still like juicing myself, and I do drink juices, and I drink green juice on a regular basis because it's great for your heart. Now, with that, let's take another break and listen to a message from one of our commercial sponsors here at UK Health Radio. I'm your host, Catherine Carrigan, medical intuitive healer, Amazon #1 bestselling author, and I'm here talking with you today about what you can do to heal your heart. Hi again, this is Catherine Carrigan, medical intuitive healer, Amazon #1 best-selling author. I'm here talking with you today about natural healing for the heart. Now, earlier I talked about my book, The Little Book of Breath Work, and the breathing routine I put together called 8 Minutes to Inner Peace. One of the things that you can do for your heart is actually to take time to exhale. As I mentioned earlier, most people who have high blood pressure do not exhale properly. So when I'm teaching yoga, one of the things that I do is I actually instruct the breath. And you can balance your nervous system through your breath. So when you're inhaling and exhaling, and there's an equal length between the inhale and the exhale, you balance your nervous system through the breath. Now, why is that important? Because when you balance your breath and you balance your nervous system through the breath, you turn off the stress hormones that damage everything. Now, another really important strategy to take to heal your heart is to realize you can get over the hurt from past relationships. Almost never a week goes by that as a medical intuitive healer, I don't help someone overcome broken heart. And I also made a video. If you're listening to this, if you go to YouTube, I made a specific video on how to heal a broken heart. Now, I read someplace that by the age of 30, that most people have had enough bad life events that we could be depressed, And by the age of 50, we've had enough life that we could be permanently depressed for the rest of our lives. So it's really important for your heart to get over the hurt from past relationships. One of the healings that I do is I do a karmic release of all heart scars. So if you think about all the people who've disappointed you, all the people who've broken up with you or you broke up with them, the divorces, the deaths, the abuse, and so on. This can all very much hurt your heart. And we already talked about how there's, you can actually have a heart attack from broken heart syndrome. So it's super important that you get over the hurt from past relationships. You can clear broken heart. You can do healings to complete your karma with everyone who hurts you. Whenever I have an especially hurtful relationship with anybody, I do a healing on myself to complete my karma with that person. So I'm not repeating that over and over and over again. So realize that you can do it, A, and then B, it really is important. The other thing is, whenever you break up with someone, whether you go through a divorce or you break up with your girlfriend or boyfriend, you can do cord releases. And as a medical intuitive healer, I can read the relationship between any two people by reading where their cords are. And when you love someone, there's a cord between your heart and their heart. And obviously, this is a wonderful thing. And we all know and have felt in the past when we have heart connections with other people. But when you break up with them, you want to cut the cords so that you can move on and they can move on. Now, another great strategy for your heart is to take time to relax every day. So I had a boyfriend one time and I was telling him that I was teaching restorative yoga. And he joked, he said, well, that's just nap time yoga. And I'm like, yeah, but we don't have high blood pressure, but you do. So when you take time to relax every day, you turn off the stress hormones. Many people live in a constant state of fight, flight, or freeze, and that's very bad for your heart. So give yourself permission to relax. Know that your body heals when you relax. Another great natural healing strategy for your heart is, believe it or not, to let someone else win the argument. Now, everybody has an ego. My ego wants to be right. Everybody's ego is pretty much the same. But when you let someone else win the argument, you have the grace to recognize that other people have independent opinions. Other people don't agree with me. I may have said things in this broadcast that you don't agree with. And you know what? That's okay. So when you allow someone else to win the argument, you stay in your heart, you recognize other people's independence, you recognize their soul sovereignty, and you stay grounded and you stay out of the fight. Another great strategy to heal your heart is to have the courage to say what you really mean. And this is what we mean by speaking from your heart. This is what we mean by speaking your truth, okay? It takes a lot of energy to cover up what you really think, what you really feel, and who you really are. So when you're real with yourself and real with other people, then you live your life from your heart, and that is better for you. Another great strategy is to find work that you love to do and love what you do and love the people you work with. Now, I'm very blessed. I've had my own business now for 30 years, full-time in natural healing. Every day I get up and I get to do what I love to do. It is a great blessing to me, and it's part of why at age 64, I'm drug-free, happy, and healthy. So take the time to figure out what it is that you really love to do and give yourself permission to love what you do. And as they say, love what you do and the money will follow. I've always made loving what I do the centerpiece of my work. And when I don't love something anymore, I change it. Another great natural healing strategy for your heart is to say thank you. Now, one of the things we know about happiness is that feeling gratitude is one of the key emotions that actually helps you be happy. And when you feel happy, then your heart is happy. So one of the ways to feel gratitude is to take the time to notice what's awesome, special, and wonderful about people who are around you. I remember I had a boyfriend one time. We came home from lunch and he said to me, he shook his finger. He said, "You thanked that waiter 7 times." Well, to me, I was noticing all the little things that the waiter did. He was kind and compassionate and thoughtful and gave us great service. So notice everybody around you and all the heart that they put into their work and say thank you. Now, another great thing you can do for your heart is to love yourself enough to get out of self-destruct. Now, I made a video on YouTube that you can watch to get out of self-destruct. So many of us have self-destructive patterns. We eat too much. We drink too much alcohol. We don't get enough sleep. We don't get enough exercise. We drive too fast. We take illegal drugs. So you may not be suicidal, but you may be engaging in all kinds of behaviors on a regular basis that are in fact very self-destructive. So if you notice you're self-destructive, then take the time to learn how to get out of self-destruct. Another great strategy for your heart is to cook a healthy meal for your family, pouring all the love that you have for them into every dish. And as I mentioned, everything that you do with your hands and your arms is an extension of your heart. So when you take the time to cook with love, then everybody actually feels that. Another great strategy for your heart is to forgive yourself by repeating the forgiveness mantra. Now, whenever I have new clients in my work as a medical intuitive healer, I always start with the forgiveness mantra. Even people I've never met, and it's like we haven't had time to hurt each other's feelings, but by forgiving, you literally clear up the energy. And when you clear up the energy with forgiveness, then people are able to feel and experience and receive that love that you have for them. The most important person to forgive is actually yourself. If you can't forgive yourself, then it's going to be very difficult for you to forgive other people. Now, in my work, I have a lot of different forgiveness mantras that I use. A real simple one is Ho'oponopono. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. For lack of forgiveness, in my humble opinion, not that I know anything, not that I'm right, is the primary cause of cancer on a spiritual level. If you have cancer and you're listening to this broadcast, please do yourself a favor, forgive everybody for everything that you think they did to wrong you. So lack of forgiveness hurts your heart. So when you notice yourself feeling angry, and we all get angry, I get angry driving in the crazy Atlanta traffic. Maybe I should use the forgiveness mantras while I'm driving. But you can use forgiveness mantras on a regular basis. I joke that forgiveness is like vacuuming. I vacuumed last week and oh my goodness, I need to do it again. Which brings me to my next strategy for your heart, which is to let other people off the hook when you witness someone making a mistake. So we all watch people making mistakes. That happens pretty much every day. But remember that nobody is perfect. So when we remember that no one is perfect, again, we stay in our heart. We have compassion for the humanity of other people, and we stay in our forgiveness state and let other people off the hook. So we're not walking around feeling angry and resentful and hurting our own heart because we think everybody's not doing it right. So we already talked about drinking fresh organic juices or smoothies every day. One of the things you want to do when you're healing your heart is to eat an anti-inflammatory diet. Inflammation is like fire in the body. I remember years ago, I had a client who had terrible heart disease. And I was explaining to him, you need to eat an anti-inflammatory diet. He's like, I don't have inflammation. He was completely inflamed. 70% of inflammation begins in your gut. That is why what you eat is so important for your heart. So what is an anti-inflammatory diet? So you have to understand what causes inflammation. I came up with a little sentence a long time ago. Nobody in their right mind eats cats. What are cats? Caffeine, alcohol, tobacco, sugar. Those all raise inflammation. Anything that raises inflammation is going to raise your cholesterol, raise your cortisol. What is anti-inflammatory? Green juices, fresh water, fruits and vegetables, okay? And it's a really good idea, 5 to 7 servings fruits and vegetables every day. Very good for your heart, very good for your blood. And, you know, going back to the juicing thing, I remember when I studied with my mentor in healing, she used to have someone who would do live blood cell analysis. And I would go every month and get my blood tested. And then finally I started juicing and she was like, oh my God, you have the healthiest blood of anyone I've ever seen. So again, when you're getting enough fruits and vegetables, and when you're juicing or making smoothies, you literally clean up your blood, and that's going to lead to greater vitality and more energy. Another great thing you can do for your heart is to make a list of people you have harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. Now, those of you who are in 12-step programs, you're familiar with this step, all right? But it goes along with forgiveness. And another way to think about this is forgiveness in action. It's to realize, you know what? I made a mistake. I'm sorry. And, you know, I really want to make amends to that. I wrote an email earlier this year to somebody that I had made a mistake with 10 years ago. And after 10 years, it was still bothering me. And I wrote him an email and said, I'm so sorry. And he's like, it's okay. It's never too late to forgive. Now, going back to exercise, many people think about aerobic exercise for your heart. And aerobic exercise, such as walking, biking, jogging, of course, swimming is all good, but you can also get a cardiovascular workout when you lift weights. So that's a great strategy for your heart. Now, a great way to heal your heart is to surround yourself with happy, positive people. Now, one of the things they say is that you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So if you're depressed, if you're angry, if you're unhealthy, look around. Look around at the people who you are surrounding yourself with, okay? And maybe make some friends who are healthy, they're happy, they're positive. A great way to be healthy and happy is to join my yoga classes. I teach yoga online 4 times a week. Laugh. Laughing is great for your heart. When you study sound healing, there are different sounds that heal the 5 elements, the Chinese 5 elements, and the sound of laughing actually heals your heart. So if you notice that you are depressed, go to a comedy club, put on funny movies, go find a friend who's good at making jokes. I'm not good at making jokes, but it's good to have friends who are. Now, speaking of sound healing, there are different musical notes that heal each of our chakras. The F note heals your heart. So I have tuning forks that I use in my healing work, and the F note can heal your heart. You can also listen to the miracle tones, 528 hertz, and it's a frequency that heals the heart. If you study solfeggio harmonics, pray to God and ask God for a gentle release of all your heart scars. So again, we have to realize that when you go through life and you have negative interactions with other people, they can hurt you emotionally, but some of these hurts can go so deep that we can be wounded at the level of our soul. So I do healing work to release all heart scars in a gentle, easy way. Use pink Himalayan sea salt. Now, a lot of times, if you have heart disease, you go to the doctor or a nutritionist and they tell you need to be on a low salt diet. Pink Himalayan sea salt will not raise your blood pressure, and it's high in minerals. It is very good for you. So use pink Himalayan sea salt when you eat your food. Now, I could go on. These are some of the wonderful ways that you can heal your heart naturally. And as I conclude this program, I want to say, love yourself enough to take care of your heart. And as you take care of your heart, you can live a long, healthy life naturally. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Catherine Carrigan. I'm a medical intuitive healer, host of the Natural Healing Show, and you can find out more about me and my work at catherinecarrigan.com and unlimitedenergynow.com. And I'm sending you lots of love. Thanks for listening.